Hi everybody. Right, personal trainer marketing tips number 5, which is going to be talk about now some tactics. So we've talked about a bit of background really in terms of patience, rejection, that type of stuff. So a bit of your background, a bit of strategy. Let's talk about the actual tactics now. So first one we're going to talk about is websites. So if you've got a website, then the key thing to remember really is that's where a lot of people nowadays are going to find you really, or even if they find you sort of offline as well, they're going to be directed to a site primarily just to find out a little bit more information about you really, because then they can find out a lot about you prior to sort of taking you on board as a trainer. So with a website, it's important. There's a couple of things to consider with a website. I think the first thing to consider is it is like a shop window. So the analogy of a shop window is pretty good, because if you were walking down the street and you walked past a shop window that was very captivating, very colourful, wanted to make you go inside and had things in there that made you think, wow, I want to go and look in that shop. That's what a website is. So use that metaphor, use that analogy when thinking about what would somebody think when they land on your site and start reading the information. So what do you want your prospective client to see? And we've already talked about find out who your sort of client is that you're targeting. Make your website then reflect that. So make your website reflect that, number one. So treat it like a shop window, and remember that a web browser, it's called a browser for a reason, because people browse. People will bounce off websites if they're not interested, and you've probably done it yourself. So that's your first thing to remember. So make sure that your content, particularly on your first page, is very attractive, talks to the audience, as I've said before. Use words that talk to the audience, but also is very captivating and wants to make people read more and find out more about you, as well as talk to them. So just remember, it's not just about, this is the second point, leads in nicely, it's not about you, it's about them. So whilst you want to give out information about yourself, you want your client or the prospective person that's going to use your services to really engage with the site, to say, yeah, I can relate to this. I mean, me personally, I've lost a lot of weight. That helps me to communicate with my audience, because I can resonate with people about sort of weight loss and whatever else. Use whatever you need to, but just think about your audience. So whilst you want to give a bit of information about yourself, you want to talk mainly about benefits of your service in relation to the person looking at it. Really important, this one, the person looking at it. Don't think about you, think about who's looking at it first. The final thing, so firstly you want to make sure the content is compelling. Secondly, you want to make it relevant to the person. The third thing that you want to make sure that you do, depending on how your site's set up, is have clear contact details on the site. So how can they get hold of you? So if I'm a client and I'm getting excited about you and your service and what you can do to help me, I want to know how I can get hold of you. So whether that be phone, email, whatever it might be, make sure that there's what's called a call to action in marketing. They can action that straight away. So if they want to speak to you, they can go straight in and talk to you. There's a way of doing it, maybe even a phone number or an email address on the site straight away, so they can contact you immediately when they're in that place of the emotion, getting excited about using your service, because then you as a trainer can tap into that and start to use it when you speak to them on the phone. So that's the those are the 3 basics in terms of a website. The fourth thing, which is standalone really, which I would have, is testimonials. So you've got to get reviews, you've got to get testimonials, because it's more powerful about what people say about you than what you say about yourself. So the quicker you can get testimonials, the better. I would use friends and family first, particularly if you're new into the business. Now these don't make these lies. If you've helped people, you've given people advice, or even if these are character references, use them. There's no problem here, as long as you're not lying, in my opinion. Just be honest. Be honest. If you've helped somebody like I've help friends and family prior to even starting being a personal trainer, then I'm going to put those on my site. I'm going to put those there, because it helps people to get an understanding of what you can do and what type of person that you are, and it adds credibility to you. So the sooner you can get those testimonials on there, the better. And like I've said, we are very sort of non-traditional in a lot of ways, by saying, look, get your friends and family on there. If you've helped people and it's not lies, get them on there. The more the better, and that's just going to strengthen your case. So just to confirm, just to reiterate, so website then, 3 things firstly. So compelling content, Secondly, relevant content to your audience. Yeah, and third thing, make sure that it's easy to get hold of you should the person want to, based on what you've put on those first two things. And then fourthly, testimonials. Make sure you've got some reviews on there, so people can then relate to other people's stories. So that's website. Design and things like that you can look at specifically, dependent on which way you go, whether you're with a franchise like Inspiring Fitness or you've got your own sort of web guys. They can talk to you about specific design colours, things like that. That's just a little headline stuff about content. So yeah, any questions, let me know, the link below. If not, have a happy new year, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.